Joining me now is a journalist whose work you just saw there, uncovering what Somalis really think in Minnesota. Ami Horowitz, also with us, Vice President of External Affairs at the Manhattan Institute, Jesse Arm. Gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us. Ami, when I saw your report, your video, it's great to have independent journalists on the ground, people like you that, because you're not going to see stuff like that on CNN. You're not going to see it on MS Now, Ms. Now. Were you shocked with their responses?
No, no. I'd like to say yes, but I'm not. This has been a problem with the Somali community writ large for a long time in the U.S. Look, the problem is they have incredibly high unemployment, very low level penetration of English, very high use of the welfare state, and then long-term use of it as well. Extremely high Islamic fundamentalism, and oh yeah, by the way, outperformed every other immigrant group, even every immigrant Islamic group that sent kids to fight for ISIS. So no, it's a problem with the Somali community for a long time. And you know, that one kid, the one on camera right now, it was so fascinating when I remember speaking to him, because he looked like a regular American kid, right? Got a Brooklyn Nets hat on. He looks like a regular American black kid. And when I talked to him, he goes, look, you acknowledge, I look like you. But I'm not like you. I'm not an American. I'm Somali, I'm Islamic. And that was a really stark reminder of how they are not assimilating into our culture, even though, like him, he was born here. And this is a problem that, by the way, Europeans have faced for a long time, way worse than us. Right now, there was a number of polls done recently where a third of British Muslims, a third, want to live under Sharia law. And half of French young Islamic men, half, want to replace French law with Islamic law. So yeah, it's a significant, massive problem that we have to deal with.
And to your point, where you were talking about the Somalis, a lot of them are on welfare. And I want you to listen to this, Jesse. The Somali influencer has a very special message for President Trump.
What is Trump's beef with Somalis? Like, are you intimidated by their success and influence? They are the captains now. What do you mean Somalia is barely a country? And it's proper giving projection when he's talking about people running around killing each other. And calling Somalis garbage. And that's coming from a man that looks like a dehydrated bit of orange peel that's been left to rot in the sun. You're in no position to be talking about anyone, especially about my Somali brothers and sisters.
So, Jesse, look at this chart. I know, right? Look at this chart right here, the SNAP benefits that the Somalis, I mean, they're living off the taxpayer teat and living large. So our money's good enough for them, right? But not our laws, not our culture. What say you, Jesse?
Well, let me attempt to answer that influencer's question. I think the president's beef with the Somali community in Minnesota may be that this extends far beyond a garden variety fraud case. It's a collapse of governance. Over the last several years, billions of taxpayer dollars, billions, have been siphoned out of the most generous welfare programs in America. There weren't paperwork mistakes or billing disputes. These were federal prosecutors who are now describing deliberately constructed networks, fake companies, fake autism clinics, sham housing stabilization providers, and nonprofits claiming they were feeding thousands of imaginary children every single day. The infrastructure of a modern welfare state was effectively turned into a cash extraction machine for politicians who are openly hostile to the United States of America, serving in our own government like Ilhan Omar, and incompetent half-wits like the governor of Minnesota, Tim Walz.
Yeah, they're talking, I'm seeing some reports that they think the fraud surpasses $1 billion. There are some estimates it's $8 billion. What do you think about that? I mean, do you think it's possible it could be $8 billion that they siphon taxpayer dollars? There's that City Journal report that says they sent money over to Al-Shabaab, which is a terror organization that controls Somalia and based in Somalia.
Yeah, you know what? By the way, I was thinking about that. If they made $1 billion to $8 billion, they only sent a few $1 million to Al-Shabaab. I mean, come on, where are you? Do you really want to help Al-Shabaab or not really help Al-Shabaab? That's ridiculous. But no, I do. Look, you're talking $1 billion here, $1 billion there. Soon enough, we're talking real money. It's an outrageous amount of money. But the more important thing is that Tim Walz and the Democrats knew about. They were warned about it.
He loves the Constitution. He fights for what's right. He hates the bad guys. He's a freedom warrior. He's your freedom warrior. Watch Carl Higbie every weekday on Newsmax.